Hey guys, this is Hiram and welcome to Little Tech Lab. All right, so today we're going to go ahead and talk about Windows PE environment. It's a very good tool for us as IT people to be able to either deploy certain images or even diagnose certain problems on a remote PC. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that.
So we'll go ahead and start by going to the Microsoft website and downloading the ADK install. And we'll first download the ADK install, and then we're going to install the download for the PE add-on. And I'll show you what that means afterwards. So let's first start with that one. We're going to go ahead and install it. Install just the way it is. Next. Do you want to give Microsoft some stuff? I'm going to say no. I'm going to accept. And the only thing we need out of this is actually the deployment. So we're going to go ahead and just check off deployment tools and press install and say yes. And now it's going to go ahead and install an update. And for some reason it failed on me, but hey, I retried and now it's doing it. What's important is that I didn't fail completely.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so now we can close it and we can start downloading the second piece, which is the PE add-on. We'll just open that up. And same thing, just leave it at the path that it's available there and press next. You don't want to give Microsoft a lot of information, so I'm just going to put no on that. And we're going to accept all the agreements without reading it because, hey, I'm like that. We're going to go say yes to it. And while it installs, I guess I'll give you a quick story. Once upon a time, there was this IT guy who had to wait for a scroll bar to reach 100 and didn't have much to say and started rambling on to people on the internet. Hurry, hurry, he said. And maybe I'll put a little meme thing here where we can say, hey, an hour later or something.
A few minutes later.
Oh, man, that went quicker than I thought. So let's continue. I'm going to go ahead and press close. And we'll get to the next step. Okay, for our next step, we're going to go to the search. And we're just going to go ahead and type deployment. And we're going to be able to open up this deployment and imaging tools environment, which is a command prompt, but you want to run it as administrator. So go ahead and run it as administrator and say yes. And when it opens up, we're going to go ahead and type, and that's it. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use this script, which in my case, we're going to use an AMD 64. So if you're a 64-bit operating system, this is the way you go. There's also a way to do it with 32-bit. Right now, this is the way I'm going to teach it, just 64-bit. Sorry, video is going to take too long if I go in every direction for every operating system. So let's go ahead and press it. And it's going to copy all the files to the C WinPE-AMD64, which is just a folder in there. And we're going to wait until that's done. And once again, I'm just going to be chatting away as command prompts slow my YouTube video down to a very, very long video. Hopefully, I edit this out. Anyway, so now that we got to the end of this, we'll go ahead and do the next thing, which is mounting that folder. So let me first show you the folder. Not that folder. That's a folder you shouldn't have seen. Nope, not that folder either. Shouldn't have seen that either. Man, there's a lot of folders here you shouldn't have seen. But we're going to go to C. We're going to go to WinPE-AMD64, and we're going to go to Media, and you're going to see that everything's in here. Now, the main folder you're going to be mostly worried about is this boot.wim. So the way this works is we're going to go ahead and expand that WIM file into a mount directory, which is this folder. Now there's nothing in there now because we haven't done it yet, but we will. We will do it now. So let's go ahead and bring out that prompt again and bring this down for a second. We're going to go ahead and copy. It's a long command, but let me see if I can just copy it. So it's dism/mount dash image and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I will go ahead and leave this somewhere so you guys can see it. Right now, you can see that it's completely mounted. The operation completed successfully. So now if we go back to the folder and we go into the mount directory, we have files in there now. So the way this is going to work is we make a bunch of changes in this, and then once we finish the changes, we unmount it and commit the changes, and then we have custom PE environment. So first, we're going to do a few things that need to be done for this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add these 3 drivers. They're hard drive drivers, which in the P environment, sometimes if you're using SATA drives or a different type of drive, drivers are needed. Otherwise, when you go and try to do an image, you can't find it. Specifically in my case, the hard drive that I'm using on this one did not have the drivers in the P environment, and I had to add them. So as you can see, I'm going to go line by line using this command, which I will give to you later. My editor can give it to you now, actually. And you just have to add them one by one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just commit the changes we did. So let's go ahead and copy the command, and we'll commit. And this might take a few seconds, but this will go ahead and resave it into that WIM file that we looked at before. So we just got to wait a little bit. Editor. Can we edit the long parts out? Okay, so now that it's done, it's time to prepare for the next steps. Okay, now you can see that there's nothing in the mount, and the WIM actually got a little bit bigger, and that's because everything is now saved into that boot.wim. So we're going to go ahead and do the next thing, which is we're going to go ahead and remount so we can make more changes. We have a few more things we have to add. But I do like saving the mounts every once in a while, because if you make too many mistakes, then it's hard to go back. So you can see the mount, all the folders are in there again. And now we're going to go into the Windows directory, System32, and we're going to look for a file called startnet.bat, or .command, sorry, startnet.command. And we're going to open it up. And so when WinPE first starts up, it actually automatically looks for this command, and anything you put in here will start up. We're going to go ahead and start up a file that we're going to put in called preinit.command, and we're going to put it in a folder called deploy. So we're going to go back real quick and we'll create that. So first, let's make a new file. And we're going to call this one tools. And I believe I already have all the folders, the rest of the folders, we just need to copy it in. So let's go look for it real quick. Okay, so I have the extra files we need to install in my documents. We're going to start with the VNC files, and we're going to open up, my VNC, and we're going to copy both deploy and VNC into the root of that mount directory. And if you remember in the System32, we actually named it deploy slash and then the rest of the file, which we'll look at in a minute. And we're going to put the custom app that I made into the tools folder that we made earlier. And we're going to go ahead and go into the deploy folder and open up that preinit.command. And you can see it does a few things. I'll put all these commands in the video as well so you can see them all. But basically, so I preemptively went ahead and initialized the network, disable the firewall, and you can see that I did a regedit for the config 32 and the config 64 for the VNC environment. And I went ahead and installed silently the TVN server, which is the VNC environment, and then I started it. And then what I'm adding at the bottom is the custom app, which will start right after everything else. Now the custom app is an app that I made using Visual Studios, and it's a simple app just to put a username and password, just to show you can put something in there for security. Now we're going to go ahead and commit these changes. I don't like making too many changes at once, so let's go ahead and commit this first. Copy the command, and we're going to paste it, and we're going to go ahead and commit it. Now there are instances where you're going to get an error, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but there's also, instead of putting commit, you can put discard at the end of that statement, and it actually does save most of it. If it actually, it's most of the times that I get the issue, it actually saves all of it. But in case it doesn't, then you'll have to go back and do it again and then commit again. And if you have an issue getting a commit or a discard, then just go back into the folder and delete all the folders in the mount and then do the discard again. When you do that, it'll definitely discard everything successfully, and then you can mount it again. So right now we're going to go ahead and mount. We're going to go ahead and finish the commit. Okay, we're going to run a few other commands here. First, we're going to go ahead and mount again, because we're going to go ahead and add a few more drivers. And these are actually packages. And the reason to add these packages is because I want to run a .NET application, like I said earlier, the auth p plus environment, or a PE executable. But to do that, you have to add a few packages to the PE environment so that I can run it. So the first one we're going to run is the WinPE-WMI.cab. The second one's going to be the WinPE-NetFX.cab. The third one's going to be the WinPE scripting. And the last one's going to be the PowerShell.cab. Now, to run just a simple .NET application, you really only need the NetFX and the WMI. But I do like adding the scripting and the PowerShell because a lot of my apps do use those things as well. So I add them for me, and honestly, it's just good to add it if you want to do it that way. So I went ahead and I'm going to add the last one. Sorry, the PowerShell. Missed it while I was talking. And when I'm finished with this piece, we're going to go ahead and commit it all again. So let's go ahead and do a commit. All right, after committing everything, I went ahead and put a flash drive on the USB. And then I'm going to go ahead and use that command, make WinPE media, to go ahead and format the flash drive and push all the mounted files or the WIM files into the flash drive so that we can boot up into it.
A few minutes later.
Success. All right, so everything should be on the flash drive now. So we're going to go ahead and boot it up and see what it looks like. Okay, so now we restarted the PC and the PE environment came up, and you can see that the first thing that comes up is this application where I have a username and password. All right, so I'm going to put the username and the password in here, and then we're going to press enter. Very simple app, and you can see it's running a command prompt in the background after you get out of the GUI. And from here, what you're actually seeing is me VNCing into the machine so that I can do some other stuff. So just press ipconfig to get the IP so that you can use VNC server remotely with the PE environment. Now, just to finish off, there are two more commands which we're not going to explore today because it takes too long, and really it's just two things. One, now that you have the PE environment, you can capture images, and you can use that using the capture image dism command, and you can name it whatever you want. And then the other is the imaging command or the apply image command, and you just go ahead and put the right path and where you want to image it, and that's it. It's really easy. I'll make other videos on other things you can install that would make your life easier if you wanted to put a GUI for the imaging part. And that concludes our video. This is Hiram from the Little Tech Lab, and hopefully we'll see each other again.